Summary of my name is read by Orhan Pamuk. Elegant has been brutally put to death, and his body is still missing after being thrown down a well. From the dead, he says that he hopes his body is found soon and that the person who killed him is caught. Black, on the other hand, has come back to Istanbul after 12 years away. Before he left, Black fell in love with his cousin Shekure, and now Shekure's father, who is also Black's uncle, has called him back home. Anisht wants Black to work on a secret book that the Sultan asked Butterfly, Stork, and Olive, 3 master miniaturists, to make. The killer thinks about how hard it is for him to come to terms with the fact that he killed someone. He has started going to a coffee house where a storyteller entertains the crowd by acting like different characters. The killer laughs at the storyteller's image of a dog and admits that he killed Elegant because she was going to tell everyone about the secret book. Anisht sent Black away when he found out that Black had fallen in love with Shekure, but he is now happy with how Black has grown up while he has been away. He tells Black about a trip he took to Venice, where the new realism style of painting in Europe shocked and scared him. Anisht shows Black to Shekure's 6-year-old son, Orhan. Orhan then hears Anisht talking to Black about Elegant's death, which many people think was caused by murder. Esther, a Jewish dressmaker, gives Black a letter from Shekure as he leaves Anisht's house. As Black rides away on his horse, he sees Shekure at her window. Shekure thinks Black is beautiful, but she has mixed feelings about him because she is still married to a soldier who never came back from war. Shekure used to live with the father of her husband and his brother, Hassan, but she left after Hassan tried to rape her. The next chapter is told by a picture of a tree that says it is lonely because it fell out of the book it was meant to be in. Black goes to see Master Osman, the head illuminator, and is given a tour of the royal workshop. Since Anisht is Osman's main foe, he is wary of Black. Black then goes to see Butterfly, Stork, and Olive separately. Each of them tells him a different story about style and personality. Black gives Esther a letter for Shekure. Before giving it to Shekure, Esther shows it to Hassan, who then writes his own letter. Shekure admits that she doesn't know who to marry after getting both letters. Butterfly tells Anisht at Elegant's funeral that he thinks Olive and Stork killed Elegant. Anisht goes to Elegant's funeral. The person who killed Elegant says that he acted very sad at the funeral and that killing Elegant really hurts him. The next story is told from the point of view of a fake gold coin, which says that all the people in Istanbul are concerned with money. Anisht tells Black that the last picture in the secret book will be a painting of the Sultan, but she is having trouble finishing it. When the killer sees Black leave Anisht's house, he knows that Black wants to marry Shekure, which makes him very jealous. After Esther shows Hassan more letters between Black and Shekure, Hassan writes a letter to Shekure in which he threatens to make her go back to his father's house. Shekure and Black meet at the house of a Jewish man who was killed by hanging. They kiss and start having sexual relations, but Shekure tells them to stop, and she makes Black agree to a list of rules before they can get married. The killer goes to Anisht's house while Shekure and Black are out, and they talk for a long time about art, faith, sin, and the secret book. At some point, the killer tells Anisht that he killed Elegant. As they talk more, it becomes clear to both of them that the killer wants to kill Anisht. The killer hits Anisht over the head with a Mongolian ink pot, and Anisht screams in pain before dying. His soul is taken to heaven by the angel Azrael, who holds it in the palm of his hand. Shekure is walking home in the snow when she finds the dead body of Anisht. She hides the body and tells her 2 sons that Anisht is sick. At the coffee shop, the speaker tells a story from the point of view of the color red. He or she thinks about how hard it would be to explain color to someone who has never seen it. Shekure meets Black in the morning and makes a plan to get her widowhood recognized by the law so that she and Black can get married. Black pays an imam a fee to give him the certificate of widowhood, and he also gets the imam to marry them. The wedding happens around the body of Anisht. Shekure and Black manage to convince the imam and the guests that Anisht is still alive and gives his permission from his deathbed. That night, Hassan goes to Anish's house and threatens to send Shekure back to his father's house if he doesn't go back to his house. Shekure tells her children that Anish just died the next morning, but her oldest son, Shevket, doesn't believe her. He says he knows Anish died the night before. Black goes to the palace to tell the Sultan that Anish has died. The Sultan is very upset to hear this. Black says that the killer stole the last drawing for the book. He also says that Anish thought Elegant was killed by one of the 3 master miniaturists, so it's likely that the person who killed Anish and Elegant is the same person. Anish is happy to watch his own funeral from the dead. He says that after he died, he saw a lot of bright colors, time and space collapsed into a single plane, and he talked to Allah, who told him it was okay to use the European style because East and West belong to me. Esther goes to see Elegant's widow, Kabylie, after Anish's funeral. Kabylie shows Esther a drawing of horses that was found on Elegant's body. Kabylie says that the drawing was not made by Elegant himself. Black is called to the house, where his head is put in a vice. But just as the abuse is about to start, Master Osman stops and tells them that the Sultan has given them 3 days to figure out who killed Anish. Black and Osman talk about what makes each miniature artist unique, and Osman says that he thinks Stork is the killer. One of the court officials shows them the horse drawing that was found on Elegant's dead body. They decide to hold a fake horse drawing contest to find out which miniaturist drew the horses, and therefore who killed Elegant. Olive, Butterfly, and Stork all draw horses for the competition, and the killer asks the reader if they were able to figure out who he was by looking at his drawing. Then he talks about going to the cafe and telling 2 stories there. As he starts to tell the third, the storyteller interrupts him by pretending to be Satan and saying that evil and free will are important parts of the world and that Allah doesn't care about small sins. Black goes to the palace because the competition has led him nowhere. There, Master Osman gets approval from the Sultan to look through the royal treasury for hints that will lead to the killer. Black and Osman look through the books in the library for hours and talk about the past and future of the miniaturist practice from time to time. Black falls asleep in the end, and Master Osman finds the needle that Behzad used to paint with and, in the end, to hurt himself with. Osman sticks the same needle into his own eyes, and he starts to lose his sight. When Black wakes up again, he and Osman talk about who the killer is. Osman is sure it was Stork. Black is happy when he gets home, but Shekure and the boys are not there. He finds out that they are at Hassan's house, so he gets a group of guys from the area to help him get Shekure back. After some confusion, Hassan's father lets Shekure, the kids, and Hassan go. At this time, the Erzurumis show up at the coffee shop. Black sends Shekure home and says he'll join her soon. At the coffee house, the performer talks about wanting to be a woman and sings a song about having mixed feelings about who he is. When the Erzurumis raid the cafe, they kill the narrator. Black and Butterfly then go to Butterfly's house. Black asks Butterfly a question, and she pins him to the ground in a sexually violent way. Butterfly says that he thinks Stork killed the man, so he and Black go to Stork's house. When they get there, Stork tells them that Olive drew the horse on Anish's body. He also says that Olive will be at the dervish house, which is where they actually find him. Olive says she didn't draw the horses. Stork and Black look for the last picture in the book but can't find it. When Olive starts to cry, it's clear to everyone there that he killed her. He says that the miniaturist should now kill Master Osman, and Black puts a knife to Olive's throat and asks where the last picture is. During the fight, the killer gets his eyes knocked out. He admits to killing both people and tells the others that they only have one chance to save the miniaturist practice from dying out. They must move to India, where the Sultan of Hindustan is looking for the best miniaturists to work in his royal workshop. Olive tries to kill Black but misses. He then runs through the streets of Istanbul and meets Hassan, who thinks Olive is one of Black's friends and cuts off his head. Shekure tells what happens to the characters after the main story ends in the last chapter. She notes that she related the narrative to Orhan and showed him the letters that she exchanged with Hassan and Black, and she cautions the reader that Orhan may not convey the precise truth, but that this is done in the interest of producing a delightful and convincing story.
About the author. Orhan Pamuk grew up in Nişantaşı, a wealthy, westernized part of Istanbul. When he was young, he wanted to be an artist for a living. He went to school at American Robert College and Istanbul Technical University, but he left the design program at Istanbul Technical University to join Istanbul University's news program. At age 23, he chose to become a novelist. To help him focus on writing, he moved in with his folks. 7 years later, in 1982, his first book, Cevdet Bey and His Sons, came out and was praised by critics. Since then, he has written 19 books, most of which have been translated into English and many other languages. Pamuk's books often look at how Eastern and Western cultures meet in Istanbul, which is a great example of this. He is an outspoken foe of the Turkish government. He speaks out against limits on freedom of speech and the way the government treats Kurds. He was given the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2006. He works at Columbia University as the Robert Yik Fontam Professor of the Humanities.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.